Hey y'all, Angela, Hippie Chick Homestead here. I'm getting ready to plant the bed that I just harvested potatoes from, and I'm going to plant it with green beans. It's mid-July and I'm planting a variety of bush bean called Provider, which has about a 52 to 55 day maturity. Since my first frost date is roughly the end of October, that gives me plenty of time to get a late crop of bush beans in. And I noticed last year the best harvest I got of beans was from one that I planted in late July. So still plenty of time to get some summer heat-loving vegetables in the ground. Those would include things like not only bush beans, but squash, zucchini, cucumbers. All of those have a pretty short harvest date to maturity. And if you're in zone 8A, which I am in the Pacific Northwest, look at your first frost date and see if you've got time to get something in the ground and harvest by September, October. So that's what we're doing today. I'll show you what I'm doing to the bed to get it ready, and then we'll get to planting. So like I said, this bed had red Norland potatoes in it. Potatoes are pretty heavy feeders, and I haven't replenished the soil in any way. So what I'm going to do before I plant the bush beans is put some garden compost down. Any kind of compost will work. This just happens to be one I picked up on sale, so it's a great time of year to pick up on sales on soil and compost. And I'm going to put this down, and then I'm going to sprinkle some all-purpose balanced fertilizer, granular fertilizer down. And as soon as the bush beans come up and are about, 3-4 inches high, then I'll come through with a liquid fertilizer that's more readily available to the plant for the plant's nutritional needs. So I just discovered an unexpected surprise, a bonus, when planting green beans in an old potato bed. I was mixing up my compost and found a dark red Norland potato that I missed when I harvested. This will be good eating. So I had a little bit of hesitation about planting green beans so close to the cantaloupe, and this little pest right here is the reason why. This is the cucumber beetle, and contrary to their name, cucumber beetle, they like everything. They are all over the cantaloupe that I planted, and I discovered when I came out earlier this morning that they had pretty much been munching on everything. I've got okra planted right next to the cantaloupe, and as you can see, the leaves are pretty well eaten through. I went through and picked off at least 25 cucumber beetles off of these, and they're not very selective. They've also been munching on some green bean plants that are planted in the same bed as the okra. So I was a little bit hesitant to put more green beans in, but I'm going to take my chances. I think I'll still get a good harvest. The green bean bed is all planted, watered in the seeds really well. And then what I do is I put these little baskets that I get at the dollar store, should be called the $1.25 store, but anyway, I get them at the dollar store. And that keeps the birds and the squirrels out of my bed, and they don't pull the seeds up. I take these off when the seedlings get to be about, 3 inches high maybe. And they're easy to just remove, and at that point, the birds usually aren't as interested. Just a really quick update on how other things are doing. These were green beans that I planted at the beginning of the season, and you can see I've got some beans on there that are almost past due for harvest. So I'll get those picked. That'll be my third picking of green beans. I've picked probably 2 pounds so far. And then these plants will slowly die off and start producing less and less until I pull them, which is why I'm planting another round of green beans so I can have a late harvest. The San Marzano tomatoes are looking great, and they're producing well, so that's good news. I've got quite a few on the lower part of the plants, and I'll pick those when they start blushing and turning pink, and let them ripen on the counter so that if we get a late season rain or too much high temperatures, it won't stress them and they won't split. My favorite pepper, paprika peppers. These things are just going crazy with production. They're in the shadow and it's hard for you to see, but I am so pleased with how these are doing. Gonna smoke them, then grind them and make smoked paprika powder. I've got to wait until these turn red to harvest, but it's gonna be so good. I don't know how well you can see them, but the peppers are doing really well. These are King of the North variety bell peppers, and I'll leave them on the vine until they turn orange or red. And I've got quite a few on different plants in different stages of growth, but really pleased with how well they're doing. One thing that's not doing great, and I've kind of been baffled about it, but I'll show you. These are jalapenos, and they're planted in a bed with other peppers, which are doing okay. They're producing, this is a variety of bell pepper called Golden Star, and I'm getting peppers in, different stages of growth, but they are producing. But these jalapenos put on some leaves and then just stopped. I don't know if it's because I planted them late, and then we had a late cold snap after I planted them, or what I suspect is happening is if you look right over here, you see the stalk of a really beautiful sunflower. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's just a gorgeous variety called Moulin Rouge. And I started doing some research and discovered that sunflowers can put out a hormone that can affect production of certain plants. I didn't realize that that peppers were one of those things, but this is making me think that that's the case. So I don't know whether to just pull these or try moving them to another spot, or just pull them and be done with it. I've fertilized, done all the things that I know to do to keep them growing, and they're just not. They're pretty stunted. So anybody's guess on these. If you've had experience growing sunflowers in the same bed as other vegetables and you've noticed any decrease in production, let me know about it. Let me know what you did about it. Otherwise, I'm just going to enjoy the sunflowers, and they'll continue to bring in birds and pollinators. I keep expecting to come out here and find the necks flopped over on these onions. They're doing so well, and as you can tell, they're really good size compared to my fist. You can see they're really big. They just keep growing. I've got 3 varieties in here. I've got Ruby Red, which is the red, obviously. I've got some Walla Walla sweet onions, and just for storage onions, I have a variety called Patterson, which has a pretty similar flavor to Walla Walla, maybe not as sweet, but they certainly taste great. And in the middle of winter, it's nice to have an onion that you can pull out of the pantry and use for cooking. So that's what's happening here on the Hippie Chick Homestead today. Planting beans, taking care of cucumber beetles. We won't even mention the squash bugs. And looking around, making sure things are coming along and getting ready to harvest. I hope you're having a great day where you are, enjoying your time in the garden and seeing the fruits of your labor. If you like this content, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. It helps my channel grow, and I appreciate it so much. Take care, y'all.